It couldn't be more relevant to convene such an event in such a hall, in such a place. And what you told us about Martin Luther King and his words that justice anywhere is justice everywhere, that were said in this place, is very relevant to our discussion today. And what an honor to be among inspiring colleagues and friends and brothers and sisters, speakers. And what a humbling experience. But this panel is a small little representation of the hope you are asking for. The hope. Among us, maybe the majority are Palestinians, but I can consider you to be 3/4 of a Palestinian, and I consider Miriam to be 4/5 of a Palestinian. Five out of 5? You're not satisfied with 4/5?
We're covering the dual citizenship.
But this is the hope. The hope is Palestine has not just become about Palestinians. Palestine has become about every and each one of you. Each one of us. Our flag has become a symbol of freedom. Everywhere. I see the colors of my flag everywhere, worldwide, in every home, right? You see it. And our kufiyya has become a cultural symbol of the youth, a very attractive symbol of everybody who wants to say, we are all Palestinians, but we are all human beings, and we are all for justice. But also the stories that has been coming out of Palestine. Of course, there are images of horror. Many commentators, politicians I meet, senior, keep telling me that Israel doesn't have a plan. There's no plan. We don't know what is their political end. We don't know what is their military end. And I keep telling them, that is so untrue. Israel has a plan. And it has executed its plan. And the plan is genocide. How else can you describe what has happened over the last 3.5 months? It does have a plan. But out of all that agony, that wound, came the stories like that of Dr. Ghassan al-Mosek. Dr. Ghassan is Palestinian, and we are so proud of him. But may I speak on his behalf? He didn't go to Gaza because he's Gazan or Palestinian. He went to Palestine because he's a doctor. And he's been all over conflict areas, not just Palestine. Right? All over the world. So does Dr. Khaled. And this is the story of Palestine. Palestinian people, there are people who believe in their culture and their roots. We have been subjected to horrific situation for 100 years. This is not the first time. We know what genocide is, how it feels, how it looks like, what are the consequences. We know what ethnic cleansing is. 2/3 of our people, including my own parents, were ethnically cleansed 75 years ago. So, resilience, I would say, is in our DNA, but also we are made to be resilient throughout our experience. So I believe we will recover from this. We will. I believe we will rise again, as we did. Some of my Christian Palestinian friends keep reminding me that we have some experience with resurrection. But will Israel recover from this? Will Israelis who have executed this genocide, whether soldiers, officers, politicians, will third party that has been complicit in this recover from this? Will our international system, international order, recover from this? Will all those who have been silent watching the genocide ever be able to look in the mirror again? I don't know. But I'll end here, my friend. I believe this tragedy is turning into a momentum that is unprecedented. I've never seen such energy, such massive energy all over the world, but particularly in the UK. The unity of the people, and I've been to all major demonstrations. I spoke there and I saw the intensity of the support and the feelings. I saw the unity, I saw the diversity, I saw all colors, all religions, all backgrounds. Huh? Not only that, not only that, but you know what they feel? They also feel not only they are out to defend Palestine, but you know, I've seen families, mothers with their babies. It's a very interesting scene. All these people are there because they are also celebrating and defending their humanity. It's a declaration. It's a declaration that we are humans. We stand with our universal values. This is a source of hope. And speaking of this video, speaking of the past, speaking of the civil rights movement in the US, speaking of the anti-apartheid movement that emanated from London, I shall remind all of you that it was never governments that changed realities and ended illegalities and suppression and oppression. It was always the people. Always. Always. It was not the Thatcher government nor the Reagan administration that sucked oxygen out of the apartheid regime in South Africa. It wasn't governments that ended and collapsed the apartheid regime in South Africa. Those who led to the freedom of Nelson Mandela and the freedom of South Africa were you, the people of the UK, the people of the world, and I believe our moment, similar to that of South Africa, is now. It is happening, so hell yes, I am hopeful.
I mean, I can confirm that Dr. Sam talks the talk, and I saw him walk the walk on the march. I was right behind him. He does the marches as well. Not, you know, he's an ambassador. He could just stay at home. He doesn't. That's why I said, you know, I'm commending you on everything that you do. I'm sure we're going to do it here. Anita, I saw you on stage 2 weeks ago, and I want to start off first by asking you to name the 7 generations of Palestinians Palestinian families that you are part of, Palestinian families you are part of. And I do want you to do that.
So I think it's important just to, for those that don't necessarily know about this tradition, but we carry the name of our forefathers in our name. So when I stood on the stage, I said, my name is Amira Ibrahim Abdullah Ahmed Ismail لمن حلحة من خليل فلسطين. Because I want them to hear that we have always been there and that we will remain.
Speaking to you over the past few weeks, that you are here in London doing fantastic work for your charity, led by the great Dr. Mustafa Barghouti. People think of Dr. Barghouti as being on TV and, you know, just doing the kind of the politics, being another kind of, you know, competing for Sam's omelette, you know. But actually, he is a doctor, and for decades he has been basically providing primary care services both in the West Bank and in Gaza. And Amira, you are here doing work, making sure, or trying your best to make sure that medication and the doctors as well, and medics go into Gaza and the West Bank and continue that great work. Can you tell us a little bit more about what you're doing here, and how it's working, and what needs to be done?
So, I think first of all, it's important to note that one of the reasons why I wanted to come here to London was because I was watching the marches from afar, and I wasn't in a position to go to marches and to have that connection with all of the people here and the communities that are here. And I was so inspired by that. So, I wanted to be here to, it's really difficult when, first of all, as a Palestinian from the West Bank, I have family there. It hasn't been easy. Last year was the deadliest year for Palestinians in the West Bank. And then I have my husband's family in Gaza, and we've lost family. And I have 200 of my colleagues, and I have friends there as well. And I feel really frustrated that even in my position, despite the fact that it's often exhausting trying to get that funding and to get the supplies through and to speak about the realities of the ground. And usually as a healthcare organization, we have a purpose. It's very clear. We know what we need to do. We try, we go in, we save lives, we offer healthcare for people that have chronic conditions, and we support them. But given the state of the situation there, we weren't even able to do that. We can't get the supplies in, and the supplies that we do get in are not adequate. And given all of the complications that we've seen with respect to the entire humanitarian context. So,
I mean, I can attest that in spite of all the pressures and the stress, your personal situation, then you were still working hard day in, day out. And I actually have to tell you, you have work, take a bit of a break. You're doing great work.